Welcome back to Shelf Addiction, the podcast where we dive deep into the pages of thriller and fantasy reads. I'm your host, Tamara, and today we are digging into the 2026 reading expectations, goals, vibes, the whole nine. But first, a quick heads up. If you crave the full visual experience and want to ditch the ads, come on over to Patreon. You'll unlock ad-free video episodes, exclusive after shows, and other bonus content. If you prefer audio only, Spreaker listeners, you too have access to after shows and exclusives in audio format. And of course, if you're on Spotify and you are signed up as a supporter, you have access to the videos there as well. If you want even more bookish banter, head on over to our community on the Book Clubs app, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening. All right, let's just jump right on in. It's just me today. I thought it would be a fun thing to kick off the new year and just kind of talk to you guys and share a little bit of where I'm at with my reading goals in 2026. Happy New Year. Happy 2026, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We made it through the holiday rush, and honestly, I'm just happy to be sitting here with a cup of tea and talking books with you. There's always this frantic energy in January to be the new you, but today we're leaning into being the best version of ourselves, our reading selves. No pressure, no frantic resolutions, just some vibes and good stories. Speaking of vibes, let me just share with you my first experience of my first book of the 2026 reading year. I started with The Scammer, which is our buddy read pick for January. You can join us for book club for that one, or just stay tuned here on the podcast and you can hear what Classy and I thought about The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. But man, this thing has got me going through it. I'm like, OMG, yelling at the characters, high level of frustration, all the things. Definitely giving a vibe. It's making me question my decision or choices in picking a YA book. I don't know, maybe I just can't get into the headspace of a young adult anymore. I don't know. We'll see. You'll have to come back and see. I'm only 50% in right now, but the first half, I'm like, OMG, come on, y'all, get it together. Get it together. I want to shake someone. But actually, I'm down for it because I got 50% done in like one day. Fast read. So for vibes, I'm here for it. So let's talk about reading goals. I think, everyone talks about goals, and sometimes it's this trend chasing versus personal joy thing. You have the trend trap, right? We've all seen the top 50 books to read in 2026. Those kind of lists are everywhere. And, those lists are great. They give great ideas. But I kind of want to challenge us, myself, you guys, to read what you want to read and not do so much trend chasing. In my personal experience, I haven't had the best luck when I'm chasing the trend. If I'm like all hyped about what the algorithm feeds me on TikTok, which actually is another topic, but TikTok may not be on my phone for much longer. But anyway, if I'm reading what the algorithm serves me up, I find that I go against the grain a lot of the time with those. So this year, let's make goals that fit our actual lives, you know, um, reading what we actually want to read. And yeah, I did set a number goal as well, but I think the number goal is flexible. Everyone pushes to read, well, not everyone, a lot of people push to read this huge, massive number of books like it's a badge of honor. And there's nothing wrong with reading 100, 200, 300 books. If you could do it, go you got this. But me, I don't know. I just don't think that's in my wheelhouse to read that amount of books, especially working a full-time job and reading for fun and for the podcast, which is also kind of fun. So this year, let's make our goals fit our lives. If you have 10 minutes before bed or 10 minutes in the morning, don't set your goal for 100 books. Set a goal for, I don't know, 100 or 200 moments of reading or something like that. If the book isn't hitting you by page 50, life is too short. Girl, DNF that thing. DNF it. I'm actually following that rule myself, with exception of book club reads. If it's for the podcast or book club, I will just bear through because you guys deserve the reaction to that. But anything I'm reading on my own time, yeah, DNF real fast. And also, I'm kind of like been seeing this thing where people are really trying to revitalize their shelves, the whole quote unquote shop your shelf challenge. So, I'm down for that. I'm one of those people that don't just buy a lot of books. So I really only buy books that I really think I'm going to love or series that I really love. So I don't have a ton of books on my shelf that I haven't read. And I'm also really, really cautious with accepting galleys and things like that. I don't take a lot of those anymore. It's very sparing. Um, so for you guys that have shelves full of unread books and your TBR pile in your Kindle is outrageous, start looking at those books and rediscovering why you bought those books in the first place. I think, this might be a great year to buy a little less, experience more of what we already own. And again, I know everyone doesn't have a ton of books on a TBR shelf or, in their Kindle. I do have a lot of free books in my Kindle, but I kind of don't put it in the same bucket. I don't have a lot of unread books on my shelves, but again, if I did, I will be doing that, and I encourage you to as well. This year, same as last year, I'm really kind of focused in on not spending so much money. So I will be utilizing, Libby, Hoopla. I have some subscription services, which I think are more than worth it because the value for the money is there. So, like for example, I have an Everand subscription, and if I read 2 or 3 books on there a month, that $11.99 pays for itself. I also have Spotify Premium, which I do utilize a lot, but I also get to listen to a free audiobook on there. I count it as one audiobook as long as I choose something less than 15 hours. So that in itself makes the Spotify Premium worth it. So, there's ways to, I guess, accomplish what you want, gain access to all the books that you want, or a majority of those books anyway, without stacking and buying, I don't know, a video's worth of books to show off, or, it's cool to see huge hauls. It's really fun, but I am not trying to spend my money that way this year. And trust me, if it's something I love, like let's say The Scammer, as I mentioned earlier. If this ends up being one of my favorite books of the year, I doubt it, but if it does, I'll be the one to go out and buy it and put it on my shelf. I've done that before. I do that a lot with things that I really have an attachment to, series that I really fall in love with, and I can see myself reading them again. Or, I am a collector, we'll say, a highly curated book collector. I'll put it that way since I'm not a frantic buyer of books. So what kind of book buyer are you? What experience do you currently have, and what kind of book buying experience do you want to have in the future? Let me know. So next up, I just want to invite you to book club. I want to invite you to read along with Classy and me and Casey and me as we tackle the thriller and mysteries and fantasy series of the year. If you're worried about staying motivated with your reading, don't do it alone. This year is the time to join us on the podcast and be even more interactive. Come and read with us. Come to book club on the book club's app. Interact with the regulars. We have a group of regulars that come every month or almost every month. It's so fun to discuss a book with people because they can bring other points to the front. So sometimes if I've been really hard on a book and then I talk to them, I'm like, you know what? You guys are right. It wasn't that bad. Or, there may be things that I missed in a mystery and I'm confused on something, and we're all here to kind of oh yeah, do you remember that part when? Book club is so interactive. I love book club. And online book club is perfect if you don't have the bandwidth to go and sit in a restaurant or a cafe, or, you're just a little shy. It's perfect. It's perfect for that. So we are doing monthly. As you guys know, if you're new here, we read a different book every single month. There's a fantasy option and a thriller option. You can pick one or both, even read along with some of our supplemental things that we've got going on in the book club. Right now, we're doing The Will of Many. This month is a supplemental series, so we're really slow reading that. We're taking our time. We're doing 2 months for book one and 2 months for book two because we really want to dig into the details. So yeah, we've got some variety here. There's something for everyone. And I announce those picks, in the book club's meeting. At the end of the meeting, you know what we're reading next. And, the meeting invite goes up and you see what we're talking about. If you're on Patreon, maybe a month or at the very least a few weeks ahead. I try to get it out 3 to 4 weeks ahead of when it's announced to everyone else. So you can get these books on your library wait list as soon as possible, or you can start looking at all the different ways that you can access the book beforehand. So you don't have to just buy a book the day before. So that's another perk of being on Patreon. So yeah, so we'll have a dedicated episode for each one, as you know. So Classy and I discuss the thriller and mysteries, and Casey and I discuss the fantasy series. And the supplemental ones, there's not going to be a podcast episode for those, but I think I will do some coverage on Patreon. And if you're on Patreon, you'll be able to see the coverage of the supplemental books that we read this year in the book club. So check the notes for January and February. I think I'll include that as well. Check the notes. And they're easy to find. Maybe there's something that's already sitting on your shelf. Maybe we're reading something that you already have on your TBR. So I love making this show, you guys. It's my favorite part of the week. And to keep things growing and moving, I'd love for you to consider joining our Patreon community. It's not just about supporting the pod, quote unquote, although that does help pay the hosting bills. It's a way for us to all hang out more. As I mentioned before, we have many episodes. We have after shows where we break down bookish things going on in the community and all kind of fun things for you there. And it really just helps me out. It's not free to host the book club. It's not free to host this podcast. So any little bit that you can contribute helps. And if you love what we do here, if you listen every week or a couple times a month, you've gotten value out of the show. If I've helped you find 1 or 2 amazing books, I would love for you to join us. But if you can't, just having you listen is more than enough. I am glad you are here and always appreciate you for listening. So what's your homework for this week? Go to your bookshelf, pick up one book you've bought within the last year and maybe forgotten about. Or search through and find something that is fitting your mood. Get into the mood reading. It's cold out. Well, at least where I am, it's cold out. You want something maybe cozy, pick your vibe. Go for it. Go to your shelves and see what's there. And also see if we've got anything on our agenda that's also on your shelves. Thank you for starting out your new year with me. Let's make 2026 a year of intentional, joyful, main character reading. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.